Though you will see click to continue and replay buttons in this video, these features are not supported by this format. You may want to pause the video when you see these buttons. If you want these features and the supplemental slides and files that correspond to the video, then enroll in the course at biztricks.us.
You can reference any single cell or range of cells using range. Range is a child of worksheet. Worksheet is a child of workbook. And workbook is a child of application, where application is Microsoft Excel. So the parent-child relationship is application, workbook, worksheet, range. If you do not explicitly provide the parent-child path of a range, then VBA will default to whatever is active: the active application, the active workbook, and the active worksheet. So, a fully qualified range name might look like the following: application.thisworkbook.activesheet.range B2. There may be occasions when you need to look through multiple Excel sessions. This is when application comes in handy. However, application is beyond the scope of this course, so we don't need to explicitly name application. It's less common that you may need to work with ranges across different workbooks, but if you do, this is where you would put the workbook object. This workbook is the workbook where the code is contained. As you see in the project window, our code is located in the VBA demo workbook. You'll also see the This Workbook object in the tree. Notice that cell B2 in Sheet 1 has a value 0.11. Let's launch a new workbook from Excel. This new workbook is named Book followed by a number. We'll put a dummy value in B2. Let's test out this hierarchy in the immediate window. Back to VBA. We'll close the locals window to give ourselves more space on the screen. Alt-VS, Shift-F10, H for hide. Copy the text that is located to the right of our variable name. Control-G. Question mark, Control-V, add dot value at the end and press Enter. As per Microsoft's help page, using value to rather than value or text when reading data from an Excel range is preferred. So if you have value to, then use that. Value will still work for backward compatibility. Question mark again, Control-V, add dot value to at the end. Go back to the start of the line and replace this workbook with workbooks, followed by the same name in double quotes, and press Enter. Look at that. Both lines are exactly the same with the exception of the workbook reference. We get different values because each line references a different location. This concept applies to worksheets as well. What happens if we change active sheet to a different sheet name? Let's do that. The value is null, so we don't get anything back. We can confirm this by comparing the statement to the VB null string constant. Again, VBA doesn't need to physically see the workbook, worksheet, or range to know what's there. As an operation, select and activate are slow because they must render the screen, meaning the computer must switch from one screen to another and visually draw that new screen. It's an expensive operation on resources. So try to avoid select and activate. It will significantly speed up your macro if you do. As a reminder, if we don't explicitly provide the parent objects, then the active object for that parent is used. It's very dangerous to default to the active object. At a minimum, always qualify your range objects with a workbook worksheet hierarchy. Trust me, it will save you a lot of headache in the future. When I first started with VBA, I got tripped up a lot by this. Just like there are many ways to reference ranges, there are many ways to reference worksheets. For this illustration, we'll stick with this worksheet's worksheet name pattern. Let's create a worksheet variable to hold our worksheet object. Dim WKS object as worksheet. Let's then select that object and assign it to this workbook, worksheets, sheet 1. Referencing the workbook object will prevent the use of active workbook. we could have the wrong workbook activated, which will produce a really bad outcome.